Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to yet another episode of Rubaroo. I would like to welcome you all on behalf of soulsetu team. And thanks for being with us as every time on Mondays and Thursdays at the same time. Today we have our guest, Hiranmai. Hiranmai originally from South Africa and is a yoga teacher, an Ayurvedic practitioner and a Brahmacharini. Initiated by her guru Paramhansayogananda ji, her path was always interconnected with yoga. In the past, learning from teachers like Dr. Vasant Lad, running her own Ayurvedic practice as well as teaching yoga and Ayurveda in United States. Currently, she is in her guru's ashram in Vrindavan and dedicated all her life completely to God and spreading the sacred science of Kriya Yoga and meditation in India and beyond. Today, she is a trainer as well as the head of spreading Atma Kriya Yoga in India, passionate about sharing this life changing ancient meditation practice with others. So, with that note, I would like to welcome Hiranmai with us.
Hello, Jacob.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for that nice
So
introduction.
nice to have you today.
Thank you for having me on, Pooja. It's very, very sweet of all of you. Thank you.
You have such a wonderful glow on your face, which I'm loving.
Well, if it's possibly the light from Vrindavan that's behind me.
Yeah. So, tell us, Hiranmai, your journey from South Africa to India. How did it all happen?
Well, it happened from South Africa to India. It happened very fast, actually. It wasn't something that was really under my control. Many years I met my guru, Paramahansa Sri Swami Vishwananda, and what I had planned was a very different idea for what he had planned for me. And I think often we all kind of see that in our own lives, what we have in our minds of what we're going to be doing and what actually happens is a different story. So about 4 years ago, actually, it was already started for a while. I was in a relationship and I was very happy. And I was already on the spiritual path. And I was already with my guru and with the organization Bhakti Marga. But I felt for myself, I felt something that was not satisfied. And I felt something that I couldn't really explain it because I was happy in my life. And also like you said, I was practicing Ayurveda and I was happy. But there was something inside of me that I couldn't ignore. And it wasn't being pacified from the outside. It didn't make a difference how many people I saw or how much love or appreciation was from the outside or even my fulfillment in that way. I knew that there was something else that I was meant to do, that my dharma was different. And that's something it's not for everybody. I know in terms of my path and my guru also, most people are householders and there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. But for myself, I knew it. And many years ago when I met him, he said something to me, but I didn't want to hear it. For a long time, I wanted to do what I wanted to do, yeah. So then everything changed very fast. As soon as I got initiated as a Atma Kriya yoga teacher, something must have woken up inside of me. And there was an amazing experience that I had, a spiritual experience, which gave me the confidence to be able to leave, because that was something scary for me. I was very attached to my ex-boyfriend, to my family. I'm very much a family person. But this this confidence in what he showed me propelled me forward, that I just knew I had to really just trust God and really just have faith in what it is that I felt and listen to myself and what he was telling me and not everybody else's opinions.
So when universe intervenes, so everything falls in place itself.
It's true. It was nothing under my control. I never would have been able to orchestrate any of it or really even had the confidence or any of it to leave. I felt almost like there was no choice inside of me at this point. You know, already there was something inside of me that everything was being finished for me. I lost, even as much as I loved Ayurveda and everything, I lost interest in the outside world. So, yeah, this.
So tell us, Hiranmai, how did you get a chance to meet your guru? Where did you met him first, and what happened?
So I was I was studying drama. I used to study drama. It was like a long time ago, 23 years old. And I was in acting school and I was in my final year. And already back then I was practicing Kriya Yoga with a master. I don't know if you know him, Paramhansayogananda. There was a very famous book he wrote, Autobiography of a Yogi.
Yes.
So I fell in love with him when I read this book. And I remember thinking, oh my God, if only I had the chance to meet somebody like this in my life. You know, he spoke about things about God realization. He spoke about things that, you know, we're not here just to enjoy ourselves, and we're not here just to, you know, have families and have work and make ourselves happy. But we're here for a deeper dharma and a deeper purpose. And I knew this. I remembered this when I read it. And I thought, God, I really want to meet somebody like this that can really help me. And it was not very long after. Already I started to do Kriya Yoga with Yogananda. And then my mom told me about a saint from Mauritius, that there was a God-realized man. He was very young. Guruji must have been back then maybe 25 years old.
Wow.
But he was young. But he was born God-realized. So from a child, he already had siddhis. He was already making miracles possible. He already knew everything. He already went into full samadhi at the age of 14. And the state never went back. So for him, he was always different. And I heard about him. And my mom said to me, he's very much like Yogananda. Do you want to meet him? And I was like, yeah, of course I want to meet him. But I was already practicing for rehearsals. So I asked my director and I said, will you let me go? And he said, no, you can't get off. And I was like, okay. I was like, please, can I go? And he said, okay, just tonight you go. Wow. So I went and I met him, and he was doing something called darshan, which is, here in India, it's very different. In India, you know, we think about saints or gurus or even deities that we have their darshan. So we see them and then it's finished. Yeah. But it's very different how he does darshan, because for him, it's a personal blessing to each and every person. So for example, I mean, like in Portugal, there was 5,000 people. So individually, he saw 5,000 people. And what he does, it looks like he's looking in your third eye, but he can see your soul. And he can see all of your past lives, and he can see all of your future lives, because he's God realized. So what he said is that when he looks at you, he can see like these black dots. And this is our karma. And what he does is he takes whatever he can onto himself so that we can move forward spiritually. And this is a huge part of what Guruji does. And we'll speak later, but actually now he's doing it online, which is incredible. So I went for this darshan. And for me, when I saw him, there was something inside of me that recognized him, but he never spoke to me. And it wasn't like a very dramatic thing that I felt. But the next thing in the morning, my mom phoned me and she said to me, my name used to be Morel before I got initiated. She was like, I'm going again. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, there's no way I can go. Like, I can't. I've got rehearsals. 2 minutes later, the director phoned me and said, I'm sorry, your part in the play has been cancelled. Yeah. And this was my final exam. So the play went on without me. And so I got to go back that night. And that night he spoke to me and he said to me, stay behind. I want to speak with you. And I remembered a crippled woman. She was in a wheelchair. She went in. It was me and her. And she walked out. And when I saw this, I thought, oh my God. And then I went inside. And when he saw me, it was like he saw me yesterday. That's what it was like. And he was very loving and very warm. And he manifested a picture for me because he's able to manifest anything, because there's no limitations with masters like this, no? They're not like us. And he manifested a picture of Yogananda for me. And inside of the picture of Yogananda was himself sitting in Yogananda's throat. And then he said to me, do you remember me? And I was so shocked. I didn't even know what to say, Pooja. I remembered being completely awestruck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking when you don't know that things like this can exist, you know?
Yes.
For me, it was in a book. And then my life changed very dramatically after meeting him. And many experiences started to happen. But this was then the beginning of meeting something that is so different to what I expected.
So it was your calling actually, which got you there.
It was for sure. And what he says is that actually it's all of our callings. You know, it doesn't really make a difference who your master is or which path even that you go. But for every single one of us, it is this calling for us to go back to what we originally are, which is the true self, which is the Paramatma, which is the Lord. And we're all on it, you know?
So one of our viewers is asking, which Guruji are you mentioning? So we are talking about Paramhansa Vishwananda ji.
Yeah.
So we're talking about him. So so nice to hear your story, Hiranmai. Now today our topic is what is the power of chanting divine name.
Right.
So tell us something about this. What is the power? How does it change one's life if you start chanting?
Completely. So the thing is, the interesting thing is, if we look at our own lives, what we are always chanting, we're always actually chanting something. And most of the time, it's the negativity inside of us. No,
the beautiful thing you said.
Huh?
Beautiful thing you said. We are always chanting something or the other.
Yeah.
And that only.
It's true. And if I look at myself, so much of the time I'm chanting my own limitations in my mind about what I think I can do, what I can't do, what I think I'm good at, what I'm not good at, what I'm insecure at. So many lists I have inside of my own mind about who I am. And this is like a 24-hour running program, which of course is my life. And you know, what we think about all the time is what we are.
Creates our reality. Yeah.
Completely. And so one step more than that is to become positive, right? To become aware of my negative self-talk, to become aware about how fake I am as a person, how I cover up so many different things about myself that I don't like, that I don't want to hide. When you start actually listening to what's going on up there, it's like a mental asylum, you know? And I mean, it's crazy, really. It shocks me all the time. And this is something that never really ends, because if we have this mind now, how many lifetimes, how many samskaras, how many impressions, how many bodies, how much download do we actually have of stuff? And so we come with this programming and we live out this programming. That's what we're doing here, until it comes to a point where something inside of us is so deeply calling for something else that our lives go terrible and our relationships fall apart and so many different things happen to us, just to get us to the point where we can look about what it is that we're thinking. And when this awareness starts to happen, and when we're actually able to admit all of and accept all of the things that we don't like about ourselves, without judgments, but just by saying, okay, there we go. This is me. It's a thought. This is how I am. This is me. You know, this is how I was made. It's okay. After that point, then possibilities and change can start to happen. So what chanting the divine name does is it even takes it to another level of profundity, because the name of God is actually God itself. So there's no difference between the Lord and the name. So whether we're chanting, whether it's Shiva, whether it's Kali, whether it's Narayana, whether it's Om Namo Narayana, whether it's Om, every single name that we say is Him, is the Lord. And this vibration, this perfect vibration, is completely inside of there. I mean, in Hinduism, I've started to study some things, and God, it's so beautiful. It's the most incredible tradition that you guys have. Sanatana Dharma and all of the incredible stories. I mean, the one that comes into my mind is that story of Hanuman, who was such a bhakta of the Lord and such a devotee of the Lord, and how he used to continuously chant the word Ram over and over again until his cells used to vibrate the name Ram, until every single cell in his body was Ram. And the incredible thing about this, these stories that we have, actually, when you have the grace of a living master, what becomes alive is that these stories are not, they're not made up, but they are real. So Guruji is completely obsessed with saints, because it is through their grace and actually through their tapasya that their vibration is so powerful and so strong that it actually helps to uplift us. So there are saints like so many. I'm sitting in Vrindavan. There are hundreds and thousands of saints around me. And they're sitting here in India, which is so incredible. So, for example, this one saint, Chakamela, he was a saint from Maharashtra. He chanted the name so much that literally the name of God was, when they found his bones, it was inside of his bones.
Wow.
Yeah, which shows the power of the name. It's got the power to literally transform our cells, our bodies, our minds, everything, because the more that you chant the divine names, the more you become divine.
So
That's
that reminded, yeah, so that as you said, the name has equally importance as to God. So that reminded me of a story in Ramayana where Ramji was, making a bridge with his Sena, and with those
exactly,
stones they write the name of Ram, and it doesn't sink in. So one of the
exactly.
bhakts asked, "Ki, how does it possible? How is it possible?" So he says, "Ram se bada Ram ka naam." So I think
Exactly.
that really makes a sense to what you are saying.
That is the power of the name. And if you think the potential, what he does inside of a stone is what he does inside of us. And
Yes.
ultimately, the Ram, the Lord, it doesn't make a difference what you call him. We're Sri Vaishnavas, so we call him Narayana. He's sitting inside of our hearts. And with every single name that we're chanting, it's literally like Guruji says, it's this dust that gets removed from our hearts so that this love can grow inside of us. You
I am
know?
speechless, and I'm getting emotional. I don't know. I
But
can
this
really
is
connect
the
to that
beauty.
energy. Yeah.
This is the
Uh,
beauty of this is the beauty of the Lord, really. And
mm,
it's amazing to me how rich and how beautiful this tradition is in India, and how so many, God, they were so incredible, these enlightened masters, that how they spoke about this, because they knew what it was doing and how simple it is. It's so simple.
So, Hiranmai, tell us, there are so many different types of yoga. So, how is it Bhakti Yoga different from others? Tell us something about Bhakti Yoga.
Okay. So, yes, there are so many different yogas, this is for sure. And I think it's because, God is so amazing. He knows we're all very different and we like different things. We're not all attracted to the same stuff. So, in that way, he makes himself available. That's the beauty of him. But in the Bhagavad Gita, it actually speaks about, Krishna takes you through different stages. The first 6 chapters, he takes you through karma yoga. And karma yoga is about, giving your actions, handing over and surrendering your actions to the Lord. So that basically we're not thinking that we are doing everything. Because when we think that we're doing everything, we're building up more karma. But we're basically handing this over, and we're saying, okay, whatever the results are of all of my actions, you deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. So whatever actions I do, I hand it over to you, so I don't have to worry about the fruits of my actions, right? This is karma yoga. And karma yoga also has to do with lokasangraha. So doing things for humanity. What you're doing now, Puja, is karma yoga. You're helping so many of us and so many viewers, because you feel that this is helping to benefit everybody, right? So this is
Right.
doing an action for the benefit of everybody. So this benefits us as well. So this is karma yoga. Bhakti yoga, then you have jnana yoga, which has to do with introspection, which has to do with looking at oneself, which has to do with analyzing oneself. This is also a very difficult path. But why Bhakti yoga is so beautiful for me, and why it's spoken of as in the Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 9.2, chapter 9.2, is because he speaks about it as it being the king of yogas, because it is so simple, and because it has to do with our love relationship with God. So Krishna is basically saying, don't worry about it. Let me take care of it. just love me. Just think of me. Just chant my names. Whatever you do, keep doing your actions, but think of me. And this is really more bhakti yoga, where it's the idea of sharanagati, where you basically are taking everything that you have and you're saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix my life, but you do. Help me. Help me. And it's taking this and it's handing this over to the Lord so that he can lift us up. Because we don't have the power to do something like this, but he does.
So
It's very beautiful. There's in the Bhagavad Gita, in the last chapter 18, I think verse 66, he says, Sarvadhamma parityaja mamikam sharanam vraja. What he's saying is that he says, surrender to me, love me, and don't worry about everything. I will take care of all of your sins and I will wipe away all of your sins. You basically just think of me and make this your main aim. So it sounds like a simple thing to do. And it sounds, when you think about it, it's like, yes, of course, this makes such sense. But the journey of making the Lord the real thing that we want and to be our only real desire is a major journey. But with his grace, it's very possible.
Very possible. So basically, you have to surrender and love him completely with all your heart, mind, and soul, and just think that he'll take over. He knows what to do.
That is bhakti yoga. It's so simple. Guruji always speaks about it. It's about our relationship with him. And every single one of us have got a completely different relationship with God. My relationship with him is completely different to yours because our journeys are different. Our souls are different. And that is why it's so beautiful when I see Guruji looking at people, especially in places like Darshan. It's so magnificent because the respect and the love that he has for every single person is mind-blowing because he sees the soul and he sees this aspect of God inside of everybody fully. And when you see that in somebody, it must be such an incredible thing.
So, do all the mantras have, same power, or different mantras have same power? If we chant, like you said, different mantras. So
Yeah.
tell us the.
I can tell you what we chant. We chant Om Namo Narayanaya. This is one of our main mantras. And if anybody decides to do something like Atma Kriya yoga, you actually get initiated into the mantra, which is almost like, because it is, you get blessed from the whole lineage of gurus. So our lineage, in terms of our Kriya Yoga lineage, comes. Have you ever heard from Mahavtarbabaji? So he is a 5,000-year-old yogi. He is actually Guruji's guru, and he is the original. All Kriya comes from him. So Atma Kriya Yoga, he got given now, he's always had it, of course, but he gave it to Guruji, Paramhansayogananda, in about 2007. 2008 was the first course. And when you get initiated into a mantra, it's almost like the engine starting. We give something like Shaktipat. And that is through the grace of the masters. So that is a huge difference. That already changes it. So you can change, of course you can chant Om Namo Narayanaya, and it's incredibly powerful. It's also this mantra in specific, it's called the Akshakshar Bij mantra. And it's an ancient mantra. Basically what it's saying is, I bow down to the Lord, in which we are all resting inside of him. I bow down to him that is resting inside of us, inside of every one of us. So it's exactly everybody. So I bow down to him that we're all sitting inside of, the way that I see it, like we're like millions and billions of little cells resting inside of him. All the universe is everything. So he's so big that he encompasses everything, and yet he's so unbelievably tiny that he's sitting inside of every single one of our hearts. So this is the basic meaning of Om Namo Narayanaya. For sure there's much more detail to go into, but this is the basic thing. But I know also Vitala is another mantra that Guruji chants, and he actually has every day he's doing chanting online. So I can send you the details afterwards. It's free and open to everybody. You can chant with him. He chants Vitala every day. And Vitala is a very beautiful name of Krishna, of Panduranga. Yeah. And this specific mantra that he said, actually, when you say the Vitala, the ta, actually forces your heart to open. So yes, so it's good for the physical heart. He says for people with heart disease, but also it helps to ignite the spiritual heart. Helps to open it. And then also,
our one of the viewers, Deepti, she's asking, what is love and unconditional love?
So love, you guys have it in your, we don't really have it in English, but in Hindi, you guys have pyar and prem, right? So love is, I suppose, the everyday love is the I love you, because the way that I think about it is in our relationships, right? So everybody knows what it feels like to have husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends. I love you when you do what I want you to do. Yeah. I really love you when you behave in the way that I want you to behave. I really love you when you look the way that I want you to look, when you tell me nice things about myself, when you agree with me. You know, our love in our relationships is very much conditional. Very much. Even in the most unconditional relationship like our children, even then we love them when they study what they want, what we want them to study. And we love them when they marry the person we want them to marry. And we can continuously see in our own lives how unbelievably conditional we are in our human relationships, right? So this is love. Well, love. Prem, or unconditional love, this is the love that we have for God. And this love is the love that you felt in your heart, Pooja. This love is the love that you can't really describe it because it doesn't make any sense. Because it's something that just happens and you're not in control of it. And it's this love that starts to grow. And it's this love that when you do practices like Atma Kriya yoga, or when you do practices like chanting, this love is a love that grows between you and your own personal relationship with God. And this is pyar, this is unconditional love. So yeah, this is the real love. And when it actually, I don't know. I'm myself and limited. I myself have a mind. I am always trying to look at myself and look at my own conditions and try grow more the unconditional love. But when you look at the master, when I look at my master is the example that I have, what it looks like to truly love somebody. It's amazing because the forgiveness is incredible. And if you think about our own relationships, so for us just to become human beings, it takes 8.4 million lives, million, like different incarnations, reincarnations, in order just to get a human body. Once we have a human body, it takes at least 200,000 of these human bodies to get to the point where we're actually interested in God and a spiritual path. Yeah, that's mind-blowing. So if I think about unconditional love, how incredible it is, can you imagine what God thinks of us? How many lives we go through the same thing, still invested in the outside world, still trying to make other people happy, trying so desperately to do this and do that. How many lives we waste instead of actually saying, okay, I want something different. I want something higher. I want to know who I am. I want you. That's infinite patience. You know?
So well said. So, Hiranmai, tell about the Om chanting circle you lead all over India and abroad. What is it all about? Because Om chanting, I think in Indian, our community, we do chant Om very regularly. But then
Yes.
what is the difference? How
It
do
is a
we?
big difference. So this particular technique comes from Mahavtarbabaji, and Guruji asked if he could bring Om chanting into the world. So it came from the rishis about 5,000 years ago. Their main form of healing was this Om chanting. And what it is it's done in a very specific format, in which a vortex is formed, in which the masters are invoked. You normally chant Om for 45 minutes. There has to be an Om chanting leader involved in the circle, because there has to be somebody to transmit the energy. So there are many Om chanting circles around India and thousands around the world. And it's incredible what happens. We normally add people's names inside of the circle. So people have healing from wherever they are in the world. That's what's so incredible about Om chanting. And also, 2 kilometers around where an Om chanting circle is being held, people are getting healing and blessings from the masters, whether they know it or not. That's the grace of Om chanting. Unfortunately, because of Corona, we haven't been able to do Om chanting because we need this formation to happen. So we can do small ones, which we've been doing in the ashram. And also there's social distancing now, which also hasn't been amazing for Om chanting. But what we have been doing, and I'll do a little bit of this with you guys together, is basically it's not exactly Om chanting, but we do chant Om, and then we do something at the end called an earth healing meditation. And again, Guruji is doing something like this every day so that the vibrations of the chanting that we have given for ourselves, that we can give it to Mother Earth as well. But the Om chanting, lots of this information I'll share with you. And people will be able to see in Delhi, there are many chanting leaders that will be doing online chanting as well, until we can start to do chanting properly together. It will be nice when, when this lockdown and everything finishes. But in the meanwhile, online, we're keeping things going in the best way that we can.
So tell us about this Atma Kriya Yoga initiated by Swami Paramhansayogananda ji.
Vishwananda.
Vishwananda.
So Atma Kriya Yoga, Atma is soul, and basically what it helps to do, Atma Kriya Yoga is becoming aware of the divine in all actions of your life. So what is very important is that for people to understand that you don't have to be somebody like me and living in an ashram for an experience or for a relationship with God to happen. He is very much inside of you as he is with everybody else. And this relationship that you have with him is something that you can develop by yourself. And this is Atma Kriya Yoga. It grows bhakti and it grows love inside of you. And it's a series of techniques, about 16 techniques that you do by yourself. It's a self-practice. It can take anywhere between 20 minutes to, if you want to, 1.5, 2 hours a day. It depends on you. But it starts to change you completely from the inside. If I look at myself, and if I look at my friends, and if I look at devotees, it's incredible the difference that it makes. It burns your karma very fast. In Atma Kriya Yoga, there's something called main Kriya, which literally one breath in and out removes 1 year of karma from your life. And you're meant to do 10 of these a day. So that is 10 years in one day. And
Amazing.
it's amazing. And this is really, I tell you, only through the blessings and the grace of the master that something is able to happen like this, because we're not able to do any of this stuff. But we're so unbelievably privileged to be living at a time like this, to be able to get techniques like this. I mean, there are saints literally in the Himalayas now that don't have techniques like this, desperately wanting it. And it's incredible that it's able to be accessed online, that masters that are literally avatars and God realized beings are able to be accessed online for normal people like me and you. When would that normally be possible? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's such a grace, that we live now. So Atma Kriya Yoga, it's incredibly beautiful. It's very profound. It is a set of exercises, and mainly what it does is it helps you to find God inside of your heart. That's what it does. It helps to burn up so much karma that it starts to wipe away this dust. And so the true aspect of who you are starts to blossom.
So is there a difference between chanting and meditation?
So chanting, it depends on how. You see, when you do things, I can't speak about the techniques in Atma Kriya Yoga because it's only restricted for people that do it. But I can say that how you're chanting makes a big difference. How you're chanting. And when you know how to chant, then it leads you to meditation. But even then, if you just sit by yourself and you chant, almost the end result is meditation. That is why we have things like Atma Kriya yoga, because we're not able to meditate. We're not able to. We're so full of stuff in our minds, we can't sit and meditate. But when you have something like sadhana bhakti, which is basically techniques, then by chanting, you're giving the mind something to focus on, right? And often you're doing it with the mala beads. Here I've got mine. So with every Om Namo Narayanaya, whichever name you decide to do, when your mind goes to what am I cooking in the kitchen, it brings you back because you're doing your next bead, Om Namo Narayanaya, and eventually this stills your mind, and eventually it leads you to the place where you're able to meditate. And again, this is also the grace of God and the masters, because this is also not something that's in our control. When he wants us to meditate, when he wants to switch it off, he knows very well how to do it. I can't do it,
Yes. So, tell us how people can connect to this program of yours, Atma Kriya Yoga. How can we, a normal man who does not know, can connect to this, program?
Sure. So you can find us on Facebook, Bhakti Marga India. We have many posts there. Also, bhaktimarga.org. This is the main website where you can see many activities. Atma Kriya Yoga, I am actually doing a course next week online, 31st, 1st, and 2nd. For anybody that wants to join. For Atma Kriya Yoga, you have to be the type of person that really wants to know who you are. I really suggest that, and also, so that is one program that we're offering, but there's many programs. Here in the ashram, we will probably from next week have Bhagavad Gita as well. Every single day, I'll be doing some of that. Also, we will have Om chanting, not Om chanting, it's more like chanting Om, and also earth meditation we will be having from here. And all of this you'll be able to find on our website. Right now it's being updated. Probably by tonight or by tomorrow, all the changes will be made. So I can send you all of the details, and you can send it to your viewers.
Yes, of course, we can do
And
that.
there's two things that are really incredible. I just want to quickly mention. So for India, Guruji is actually doing online darshan. And that is something not to miss. I had no idea because I've only had in person with him. A few days ago was my first online darshan with him. And I tell you, I cried so much. I cried so much because the love, and it was so unbelievably powerful. And I felt immediately such a huge change inside of myself. So the details for that will be also on our website, also on our Facebook. We also have an Instagram account. So also we have a WhatsApp group. So whoever's interested, I'll send you the details, and they're more than welcome to also contact me personally.
Great. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
So since you are here and you are talking about such wonderful, Atma Kriya Yoga and Om chanting. So why not have a small experience with our viewers today?
Let's do that. Yeah. So let's think. Let's chant Om for a few minutes, and then I'll lead you through the earth meditation. So this is also something that Guruji is doing every day. So I'll also send you the links for that if anybody wants to connect. So we can just chant Om out loud. Om. Oh. Now take your hands and put them like this in front of you, and you can keep your eyes closed, and you can imagine light inside of your hands. Imagine love and light coming from your heart and spreading into your hands. Now imagine that you're holding the world. See it, that you've got the whole globe inside of your hands. And send this love from your heart into the whole world. So send it to all of your friends. Imagine them sitting there and sending this love from your heart to all of your friends. Send it to your family. Send it to your community. Now visualize where we are in the world. Visualize India and send it to the whole of India. All of the people that have been suffering during Corona as well. Send it to all the animals. See this light and this love from your heart spreading out all around. Now see it move. See it moving to all of the people that you love, all of the people that you don't love. See it moving to all of the continents until the whole world is filled with this love and this light. Now fill this love and this light from your heart. Let it spread to all of the oceans, the fish in the ocean, the birds, the trees, the rivers. See it spreading everywhere to all of the people that need this love, all of the healthcare workers, the hospitals, the sick people. See it spreading everywhere. Now take this love and also see it enveloping yourself, filling yourself with the same love and healing from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. Now we can chant together. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. And you can take this love that you've been holding and put it to your heart. And anywhere else you want to put in your body that needs healing.
Thank you so much
Thank you so much for having me.
for
It
all
was
the
so nice
knowledge.
speaking to you.
Same here. It was such a wonderful experience knowing all the knowledge and about the Guru. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Thank you, viewers. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for all the patience. And do let us know how did you like the session. Do comment and do let us know what do you want to know next, and we'll be happy to deliver. Thank you so much for all your love for Rubaroo and for Soul Setu Wellness Foundation. Thank you.